Well, we had an analyst and an expert on the program a little earlier who'd also spent a fair bit of time in Tehran, who said, well, if this is true, if this does happen, well, that gives you an idea of where Iran is heading, and basically means it's an extension of the Khamenei regime, which means that Iran is fighting to the death. I mean, it sounds pretty dramatic, but that might well be true.
Well, absolutely. And there are certain candidates or several candidates who have emerged, people who are much more qualified for the position in a religious sense, and people who have much more popular support. But we also know that the United States has bombed two offices of the Assembly of Experts. So we're not really sure exactly how many members of that assembly are still alive. We know that they were meeting to vote, but that was a remote vote, that they weren't all meeting in the same place. But the Trump administration has said that they've killed numerous candidates to the point where it may actually emerge that the person who becomes the next supreme leader might be someone who's not even on the US's radar.
Would Ayatollah Khamenei have had a plan in place before his death as to what he believed should happen if he was killed?
Absolutely. There's been plans in place since at least June of last year in terms of preparations for a war. The issue of succession is something a little bit separate because that's not something that's been really publicly discussed. He did not have a publicly designated successor, but I think the June 12-day war, the Israel-led war on Iran last year, really brought that home, that succession was something incredibly important. Also, in terms of military preparedness, the Iranians knew last time they were in negotiations with the United States, they attacked as well. They knew that having nuclear negotiations at the moment, Iran even agreeing to zero enrichment, which is what came out of the last talks in Geneva, as confirmed by Oman's foreign minister, was no guarantee that the United States was legitimately on the diplomacy track and would and was prioritizing diplomacy. So Iran did have a plan in place. We saw that with the immediate retaliatory strikes from Iran across the region, that these plans were already in place, that if Iran was attacked by the United States, and they said this publicly, this wasn't some kind of a secret, they would be striking US positions in the region, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
But now you've seen this warship, this Iranian warship being struck off Sri Lanka, I mean, proving that Iran can run but not hide.
You know, that's a very interesting one, and obviously coming from Pete Hegseth, I think we really need to scrutinise his commentary and claims about that warship. Yes, he did say it's the first time since World War II, but I will say that's a warship that's attached to the regular Navy. It's not some sinister Revolutionary Guard warship. And by the way, it was in that region because it had been participating in military exercises. It wasn't hiding or anything like that. So analysts have looked at some of that vision, and they are saying it did appear that the Iranian frigate was an easy target that didn't pose a threat to the United States when it was hit by that submarine. So I really think that that attack and those claims of some kind of a victory need to be scrutinised.
Okay, yeah, the first such attack from the US since World War II. There was another one by the Brits in Falklands, as I've quite rightly been pointed out this morning. But thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.